Well, guys, thanks so much for being here and welcome
Hello.
to first episode from SangrIA and Beer. Actually, guys, I would like first of all to introduce you my good friend Daniel Pitchman.
Hello.
Daniel is like a Gen AI lead at Cybert, and well, a lot of experience in this field already. So if you have any question, he's the guy, to make the question. He's the one that is going to answer your questions.
But my co-host Daniel is great as well. He's working with ECB and has a lot of experience in the AI field as well, as a data engineer, but as a data scientist as well. Being at Cambridge, learned a lot of stuff, interesting things going on there.
Well, actually, it was kind of lucky, to be honest. It was a great experience to be there, to be honest, and we have a lot of points, for this podcast to go through, guys. First of all, let's explain, why the reason of SangrIA and Beer. So the thing is that I come from Spain, and in Spain we drink sangria.
And I'm from Germany, and here we drink beer.
Exactly. So I would say, first, let's make a small cheers, right, for the beginning of this podcast. Cheers, guys, as well. Damn, it's a great beer, man.
Actually, I prefer SangrIA, so that's why I'm drinking SangrIA and you're drinking beer.
It's a great beer. I really like it. So, actually, we would like to start, given me and Daniel, we are actually working together in a project, AI.Founders Connect here in Frankfurt in Hessen. And the thing is that we are actually trying, to do something for the community here in Hessen in our fields.
Yeah, we're basically combining two topics here. So two topics we're burning for. That's one is AI and the other one is the startup scene. So what we want to support in particular is both those sides. We have a huge trend going on. AI is everywhere. And the other part, founders, startups, creating innovative projects, ventures. This is the two sides we want to combine and bring value for.
Exactly. So therefore, we are right now at the moment building this project. And well, hopefully during the next months and years, we can really start to provide value, to the community, and we will see the results. So pretty excited, about it, and learning a lot. To be honest.
Well, it's a local project. We're starting here in Frankfurt, but it's not just about Frankfurt actually. So not just about Hessen. For now we're focusing on Rhein-Main-Neckar area. Mm-hmm. So we're trying to combine all the potential we have here in the region. Mm-hmm. There's Darmstadt, Frankfurt, Mainz, Wiesbaden. A lot of potential we think is there, and we want to live that.
Exactly. And actually, guys, now actually, I want as well to interact a bit with the people that are listening to this episode. And one of the topics I want to bring to the table is the state of the regulation of AI at the moment.
Huge topic,
in Europe.
Important.
Yes, exactly. Guys, now next year probably more regulations are coming. For example, now the moment other kind of regulations there. For example, Facebook got fined. I think this year. Because as well of, they were somehow not
complying with the.
Yeah, exactly. They were complying with the regulation. And that's the reason, they got a big fine. And as well, other companies now at the moment, they are thinking, for example, what to do in Europe. Last year, we got AI Act, here in Europe. So actually, it's the European, landmarks with the idea, to regulate the industry. Yeah. And therefore, it's, for example, the things that if you have one company that is offering kind of a easy AI, for example, solution, the regulation doesn't affect you that much. But if for example, you're creating a bot, or you're creating, for example, something that can influence sentiments, the regulation, is going to affect you pretty hard. And then it's when it's going to be more difficult for you. What do you think about that, Daniel?
Yeah, I think there are 4 levels, depending on which, what you're actually doing with the AI. So how impactful it is, does it affect humans in a deep way, then it's more regulated, or is it just like superficial? Let's think about, taking hiring decisions can really impact people's life. It's probably a more regulated area, but creating a market advertising company maybe is less regulated. That's what I think is the AI Act about.
Exactly, and actually kind of a hot topic, guys. I don't know what you think maybe about this. If you want as well to leave some comments, how AI Act this regulation is going to affect Europe, because in other countries there are less regulations, and we can see actually, for example, like I don't know, China or United States,
Yeah, there's actually an interesting sentence I've recently read. It's I think it was the United States invents, China is reformulating it. I'm not sure about the exact words here, but then the last part was about that Europe is actually regulating it.
Okay.
That's what do you think about this? The sentence.
I mean, well, I know that, as you say, like in Europe, they want to control, and to give it more control. Therefore, like I compare with the United States. Well, like I don't know. To be honest, I don't know what to say about it.
Well, the future is unclear. It's always a difficult decision when to regulate a new technology, right? You always prevent like the innovation.
Yeah, but well, this is an open question as well for you guys, and I wanted as well to speak a bit about the state of AI in Hessen. Mm-hmm. I mean, well, this year we had a couple of experiences here. I mean, as we started building this community, we already were able to get to know pretty interesting people. Founders, in this area, as well, different investors, communities here, in the area of Hessen.
Research institutes.
Research institutes, and and for example, one of the highlights for me this year, at least, was the AI week, for example, from AI.
Pretty interesting, yeah.
Actually, pretty interesting there. For example, actually, a lot of companies, in different fields, are really showing, for example, what they are doing. Their projects. A huge, beautiful, event where people were connecting. So, for example, as well from other side, you have Hessen AI here in Hessen, supporting, for example, as well, or working with different universities, and we're giving opportunities to new founders, for example, in this area. So, actually, I think it's kind of Hessen is realizing that it has the potential.
It's waking up. That's my feeling.
Right? Yeah. But I've had a feeling as well, that maybe it needs a bit more, and the question is how to do it. For example, that's something that we are trying as well to understand, and it's like a really, I would say like a lesson at the moment.
As you guys probably know, we are hosting events as well, so we had 3 pretty nice events as well. The last big one in the end of October.
October was that, right? In your house.
Yeah, that was a nice one. Like I think we had like 130 people around that.
Yeah.
So we're feeling some momentum in this this space. That's
exactly
amazing to see.
I mean, it was really great. I mean, I really had a lot of fun, man. I mean, I didn't expect. I mean, I told you, I didn't expect to have that much people, and how much interest. And then I realized, okay, there's a lot, really going on.
Yeah.
And now, what we need to understand what can we provide, as value to this community. But we are on the way. Yeah. We will be there for sure soon.
Yeah.
That's for sure something I know 100%.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, now, guys, I would like to introduce to my good friend Sebastian Hidalgo. He's a business strategist who's working with founders and leaders to overcome challenges. And he has as well his podcast, Tech of Tomorrow. The one I have to say is great. I was the other day really listening to that. I was there in the gym, hitting the bench press, and then listening to the podcast. It was fun, man. I really like it. And as well CEO of Hypnotic. So thank you so much, Sebastian, for being here.
Thank you. Yeah, it's amazing.
Daniel and Daniel, thank you for having me. It's an honor for me to be here on the first episode, right? It feels weird to be on the other side of the screen, to put it that way, not interviewing. Also, by the way, thank you for listening while you were at the gym. That's interesting. I wouldn't have my own voice on my headphones while training, but I'm honored.
It's a very man, I really
should try, huh?
Yeah, I would, I do training there, I was I want to listen, to something interesting, and then I opened into a podcast there for you. So
you picked the right episode too.
It was great, man. Yeah, the one from the girls from Mix and Match from Valeria. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah, great. I mean, I really enjoyed it. Really was nice. Was nice.
I'm a fashion freak, so it was good to have her on and listening how AI is going in fashion.
Yeah. No, those was great. I really enjoyed it. Sebastian, we have a couple of questions today for you that we prepared. But first of all, we would like to understand what led you to become a business strategist. What was for you kind of your inspiration? What were your goals?
Malpractice.
Ooh.
Meaning, I started as a marketer.
Yeah.
And after a while, I've noticed working with clients, I noticed there are other service providers working for them. And my realization was that when they first come in, even bigger companies, bigger agencies,
Okay.
you know, I was young and I thought these big agencies, being big agencies, were doing amazing work.
Yeah.
And then I had my clients complain to me about how these other service providers were not giving them what they wanted. They were just giving advice and this and this and that and yada, yada, yada. After a while, I decided, okay, maybe I should just leave this marketing thing, just keep the skill set, leave the business, and prepare myself to be something more for my clients. And that's how I ended up becoming a business strategist. It's been an evolution, right? It's been coming together in the last 5 years.
Yeah.
But that's how I ended up here.
Okay. That's actually pretty interesting, because I think that this kind of thinking happens a lot, that people actually stay out first because they think someone else has more experience and gains the market, but then diving deeper, they actually find out that there's not so much value in this.
Yes, also there is brand value a lot. You see a big consulting agency coming, a big marketing agency coming, and you assume that, okay, they are making billions a year. It must be because they're great. Turns out if they are there because, yes, at times they're great. The issue is that in my case, I was working with SMEs mostly.
Okay.
So big agencies will, if you have an SME, big agencies will send into your company a B team, a D team. The A team is getting paid 6 figures a month to deliver real work. The B team is a bunch of newly graduate students that are there with you, learning at your expense as a client.
Yeah.
And that's a market gap right there.
Okay.
True, yeah.
Well, interesting, man. And the thing is that, like, to be honest, always when I talk to you, I can see, a mix of skills. Like I really like the way you talk, for example, as well. Like I would say, like this as well, this negotiation, consulting, like a psychological, as well, like a touch probably. And as well, one question I have here is like how this, how these all shape your approach, when helping businesses.
I love this question because, in life, we, as professionals, we tend to compartmentalize everything we learn. What we learn in high school stayed in high school. What we learned in university stayed in university. What we learned at our first job stayed there. Yeah. At some point during my career, I realized that I had this mix of skill sets.
Okay.
I became a hostage negotiator at 18 actually.
Wow.
I started in marketing. I did photography. I did translations. I did simultaneous translations. I did so many things that for many years I saw as individual compartments in my life. And then I noticed, what if I bring this all together? For example, the latest iteration of that is me offering sales trainings based on hostage negotiation principles to my clients. Why? Because the ultimate thing, the ultimate revenue driver is sales. And if you combine sales with positioning, which is the ability for people listening, positioning is the ability to be able to stand out from your competitors and tell and persuade your ideal client that you are the provider for them. Yeah. If you combine positioning with proper sales techniques, with trust-based sales, then you have the ability to become a powerhouse of a company and have a powerhouse of a sales team.
Okay.
And that's how the approach came together.
That's actually pretty interesting, because it reminds me of the quote from Steve Jobs, connecting the dots backwards, right? That's what you're describing here, connecting all those different experiences and skill sets to put it in a unique and joint experience.
Yes, that's one of my favorite quotes, actually. You can only connect the dots looking backwards. And the thing is, that is true also for companies. When I walk into companies, a big part of the strategy work is identifying capabilities. A capability is something that company does a certain way. And usually it's hidden under sentences like, we do it this way all the time. This is how it works at this company. Yeah. When you hear something like that from a software developer, for example, since you guys are familiar with that, behind that, there is probably a way of doing things that's unique to that company. That can become a capability. So companies, like people, have skills that if you connect the dots, become a competitive advantage. It become their own unique mix, which is why clients end up choosing them.
Okay. Actually, like now when you're speaking about it, man, I always, I feel this kind of passion you have for that. And I want to understand as well, from your side, what, what thrives you in this direction, to help people positioning their ideas or the startups and or to mentor them. What is the value you get, what somehow inspires you to continue in this direction?
First of all, a clarification, I don't position startups positioning
What?
product market fit is extremely difficult because in a startup, everything changes every day. So positioning work takes time. If in a startup you take 3 months to mature a positioning, something changed in week 2.
Yeah, okay.
It's really too stressful, doesn't deliver the results they need to have. Anyway, what inspired me to do that is that 90% of businesses fail, especially startups. One of my clients is CEO at a VC firm, and he told me something that really inspired me even more to do what I do. He told me, the cure for cancer is not being pushed down by the pharmaceutical industry. The cure for cancer is in the head of a startup founder that doesn't know how to sell and how to pitch it. Now, if you extend that issue, especially in technical industries like tech, which is where I enjoy working, you see a pattern. The pattern is that companies don't know how to talk to the customer. And in business, the customer is the advantage, the customer is the end-all be-all. Positioning is at the core about communicating with your customer. That's why there is, as you said, there's so much psychology involved. That's why I ended up venturing into teaching sales. Because everything has to be oriented and everything has to gravitate around the customer. If you as a company lose sight of your customer, it's over. And that's why you see the hatred people have towards corporations is not because corporations are billionaire and because they are evil. They come across as evil because top management and middle management lost touch with the reality of the customer to the point they lost touch with their employees, with the lower tier of employees. That's why we hate, as a population, big companies that much. So what inspires me is playing a role in somebody else's success insofar as I help them nail their ideal customer persona, as I help them show their customers that, hey, this is what we do for you. This is how we change your life. Because in the end, business is about change.
That's a pretty interesting topic. Since we're in an AI frame here, I would like to know a little bit how your experience of your consulting has changed with the rise of AI and maybe what you expect to change in the future. Because right now we hear a lot of AGI topics in the media. Sam Altman just had an important quote about that in the blog post. I think they're closed. So what do you think is going to happen with AGI? How's your work going to change?
That's a hard question, right? That's what everybody's wondering in every industry. But I think even now, this is going to be controversial. And I'm going to sound like an asshole. But even now, you could take ChatGPT and you could replace a 23-year-old consultant from Deloitte or McKinsey. Hands down, you could. Okay. Doesn't ChatGPT knows how to do a balanced scorecard? Doesn't ChatGPT knows how to build a business plan or how to build a slide deck? You can easily replace them. Most consultants are replaced by AI quite easily if they don't take responsibility for their advice. So I do see the consulting industry changing. However, I do see also big companies and individual consultants like me creating custom LLMs that you provide to your customers so they can have access to your knowledge base and ask questions to that 24/7. It could be a subscription. It could be an add-on to your service so that when the customer comes to you, and I know somebody who's building this already for consultants. When the customer comes to you, they come to you with the really hard questions because before that week, they ask your AI all the minutiae, all the small dumb things that they needed to ask them.
So now, do you mean like a kind of in the future you can see that there will be kind of artificial agents?
Yes, that's very close. That's very close, and I don't see that as a replacement. I see that as an augmentation of a very good strategist or a good consultant. Now, will AI replace the big four of consulting? Probably not, because there are a lot of politics involved. You hire a big company like McKinsey to have somebody to blame in front of the board. So that politics needs to happen in big corporations. Will AI replace mid-level or individual consultants? A lot of them, just like in every industry.
Yeah.
Which is strategically why, also, to be honest with you and the audience, is also why I'm moving more into the direction of sales. Because you know what's never going to change? Selling is a human-to-human endeavor. That's something you cannot replace. AI cannot sell. Their positioning already is something AI will never do, because positioning requires a level of abstraction and a level of understanding of context that AI doesn't have, and that I don't think AGI will have.
Okay. Well, actually, from our side, as well as we are now, building this community here in Frankfurt, as well in this area in AI. I would like to, we came for sure through a couple of problems, troubles, experiences, we are learning, understanding, and always, as well for, I think, each startup founder, right? We have questions, and specifically in the field of AI, why mentorship matters?
I love this question. They're my mentor, because I have one too.
Yeah.
I believe everybody should have a mentor or a coach. And my mentor shared with me this piece of news, this article, that say that startups and companies that hire a coach or a mentor get a $7 return on every dollar they spend on the coach or the mentor. Why? Because a mentor has different functions. You can pick as a mentor somebody, which is what you do with me. In me, you picked somebody as a mentor who has a different perspective than yours. That's one value of a mentor. That's what I would also do for the startups in your community, AI.Founders Connect, is that offering a different perspective from somebody who's seeing a lot of different industries and who's always paying attention to the market. Another type of mentor is the type of mentor that has done what you want to do and has achieved what you want to achieve. In that case, a startup would be very wise to pick someone, or a founder actually, would be very wise to pick somebody as a mentor that already got funded, that had a successful exit. Or actually at the beginning, somebody that got funded and then have another mentor that tells them how to scale a company to the point you can exit it. And that's the value of mentorship, is that you don't have to think. Meaning, there is such a thing in psychology called decision fatigue. We can only make so many decisions each day, and the more we make, the more tired we get. By the end of the day, our brain gets exhausted. Decision fatigue matters because a mentor lets you automate some decisions, not in the sense of AI automation, but in the sense of, for example, if I need advice from my mentor, I just ask, he tells me what to do, and I don't overthink it. Like a machine, I go implement it and get the result.
So at the end, it's kind of a trainer, for example, in other fields, or
exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
Shortcut finder, right?
It is a shortcut finder because they've been there, or they can find a creative way to get there. And again, people expect, many CEOs, many founders, as we rise up the ranks of business, we tend to develop an ego. That ego makes you think, okay, the person that I get as a coach or a mentor needs to be 10 times better than I am, or I don't want them. In some cases, that's true. My mentor is 100 times better than I am and ahead of me. However, in some cases, Phil Jackson wasn't better at basketball than Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan still followed his advice.
Yeah.
And they still became a championship team. You need an external perspective, and the right type of expertise matters a lot. Of course, there's also the personality match.
Yeah.
Mentoring is a strictly human endeavor. You need to match values-wise and personality-wise with your mentor. Otherwise, it's not going to work because you're not going to listen.
I actually have a question just perfect to this sentence, because you said it's a personality matching thing. And I was really thinking about the topic of, could actually be an LLM my mentor? And then, we can open up the whole topic, the ethics topic, philosophy topic. Is there something in this machine having a character or not? But in the end, let's keep it on the practical level. So, do you think LLM mentorship is worthwhile? Where's the difference? Where do you see the differences in the future when those LLMs get better, have better advice? Do you think there's still a necessity for mentor like it is, or like it was in the past?
Yes, there will still be a necessity, meaning creativity is something that LLMs can fake, but they don't really have. And creativity is the act of coming up with a solution from nothing. LLMs cannot do that. Even AGI will be rehashing information at some point. However, can an LLM be a good mentor or a coach? Yes, it can. I use LLMs a lot for brainstorming. If I need to go through a decision, I will ask ChatGPT,
Right.
O1, by the way, O1 is way smarter. I will ask it and I will just help me brainstorm. I have a custom GPT that helps me, that analyzes my proposals, that analyzes my ideas, and the only job that thing has is criticize it to death until it finds every weak spot that it can find, and that's how I improve a lot of my things. However, that said, even though I do that, I still have my human mentor, because there is a degree of intuition and of rapport that you cannot replicate. So I think in the future, everybody will be adopting this. Okay, I have the LLM, it's good for quick tasks, it's good for brainstorming, it's good for helping me get out of a moment where I'm stuck, because your mentor is not going to be there with you 24 hours, it's not a babysitter. But then you will still go to a human, and that human will help you achieve breakthroughs that the LLM couldn't. Together, again, AI is augmentation.
Yeah. Yeah.
Interesting thought. I'm not sure if I 100% agree, but I understand the reasoning of it. I was still thinking about the AGI part, which basically means like we have human level intellectual level. So well, we can say there's a difference between different humans. Humans have a different level of knowledge, skill, but then we're still on a human level, right? So and we can guess that it's going to get better soon. So we have a level higher than AGI. What's going to happen then? Then we have a LLM which is smarter than a human mentor. I think that's...
It's a really a clear question. I mean, at least for me, I know, your field. But for example, when I go guys training, for example, I mean, for sure it's nice, to have there something like maybe controlling your movement, right? But for example, if you can have as well, like someone with the one you're speaking, at least, for me, but I'm a person, that I like to speak. And I told you always, I like to speak, I for sure, it's not the same to speak to a machine than to speak, to a person. I mean, for sure, I will use these kind of tools if they can help me, to improve, to get better. But anyway, I will still, have
a feeling.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. I mean, I don't know for you guys, but I mean, for me,
It could be a luxury thing as well.
Well, for sure, probably will be more a luxury thing as well in the future. People that can maybe afford it, they will afford it. But what I believe is that more people will be able, to have, this support that nowadays, they don't have it. That's what I think.
That reminds me of watches. Someone I know told me he has a nice watch. It's like a normal analog watch, and he basically doesn't even use it for checking the time. He uses his phone for that, but he's actually wearing it like as a luxury item, right? I'm kind of comparing this with the human interaction in the case.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. That's my thoughts. Maybe for your field, for whatever field.
There's layers to the conversation, right?
Yeah.
For example, one question I've asked many AI experts in my show is that is AI intelligent? Many agree with me that the whole intelligence thing about AI is like Sam Altman walking around with a kill switch in his backpack. It's a marketing ploy. AI
was good.
has a form of intelligence that is not human intelligence. It is intelligent. Depends also on how we measure intelligence, right?
Yeah.
There's been criticism in social studies for decades about how we measure intelligence, how there is a Western bias to intelligence, how there is a lack of understanding of the nuance and types of intelligence in IQ tests, for example. So even measuring intelligence is not as straightforward.
Yeah.
Now, I do agree completely. I do agree completely. Luxury is going to be strictly human in the future. Now, at the hotel, you will check in, there will be a robot. You just like at McDonald's, you go in, there is a screen. At some point, there will be nobody making your fries, it will be all robots.
Yeah.
But a luxury dining experience will be elevated by the fact that you get human touch. And as you said, you need that human interaction. We all do, because humans are social creatures. As advanced as we become technologically, we have a deep need for human interaction and human engagement, human touch. And I never see that going away. So all these experiences, one-on-one mentoring, luxury treatments, it will all become a form of status, a luxury. And it will be still a reflection of the fact that as people, AI can be rational. That's the advantage it has over us. Humans are not rational. We can't be rational. Even the people that says we are logical thinkers, we're not. We never are.
Yeah, I know that. So you're right. I wanted to make a question like in another direction. For example, like for any field as well, when you are working with someone, you in different fields, you know, you get, for example, as well for the friends community, some comments from this person or from this expert, you know, if it's good, it's bad. For the founders, which ones will be the red flags that they should somehow like try to prevent when working with a mentorship?
Oh, red flags in mentors.
Yeah, exactly. To try to avoid them, because you know as well, like for example, I say like there are, for example, in different fields, you know, like you are working with an expert, and sometimes you know they don't match somehow in the mentorship field. From your expertise, from your side, for example, what would be like something you would say, hey, this is you should better to try to avoid that.
Avoid mentors that instead of giving you guidance, tell you what to do. That's a big one. Same for coaches. Okay. The goal of a coach is not to give you instructions on what you should do or you should not do. Is to put you in a position to come to the breakthrough on your own.
Okay.
You don't need an order giver because you're not an order taker. You're still an entrepreneur. You still need to take your own risks. You need somebody that listens to you and knows when and what to say. And that's really hard to, again, this is not measurable, right? The best advice I can give people looking for mentorship is vet really well the people you're talking with as a mentor. Like make sure, you know, background checks are important. Meaning on the internet, you find whatever and anything.
Yeah.
Try to meet the person in person. If not, talk to people who've been mentored by that mentor. And it's not a sign of distrust. It's just market research. It's you evaluating your possibilities. Mentorship can be an investment, and even if you don't pay for it, you are investing your time. Your time as a founder is valuable. Do a lot of vetting on who's going to be your mentor, on their background, especially if they claim, hey, I sold my company for this many millions. Make sure that thing happened for real. That's the biggest thing. Okay.
That's good to know. Actually, like I wanted you to make this question, you know, because it happened to me as well a couple of times, you know, working with an expert and then realizing, you know, like it's good in what this person is doing, but somehow it's not good, you know, for example, like, I don't know, working together, for example. So,
I mean, you know, something we have in sales is that the sales manager, the person who's supposed to train and improve the sales team, it doesn't necessarily have to be your best closer. Sometimes the best players are not the best coaches, actually most of the time. Again, coming back to Phil Jackson and Michael Jordan, he wasn't the best player. He was just a white guy giving advice to Michael Jordan of all people. But the advice worked. That's how I would put it. And another thing is get them on a conversation. Sit down for 2 or 3 hours with them over beers, over snacks. Yeah. Like, you know, people can lie for 10 minutes, for 50 minutes, people can lie on stage. They can lie on social media. You sit down with them for 2 hours, they're not going to be able to keep the mask on.
Okay. That's a good tip. I didn't think about that. That's a really good tip.
It's like podcasting. Let's think about the American election. Why do you think very few politicians, I'm not taking sides here, why do you think very few politicians are willing to jump on a 3-hour podcast? Because they know that their talking points will never withstand scrutiny. A 2-hour conversation with one or more people is the real test of whether you're legit or not. Just get them talking. Especially if you know the field too, get them talking.
Well, I didn't think about that, man, but that's actually a really nice point.
That's interesting advice.
Sebastian, as well, like from your experience, for example, like as this is a podcast, you know, for startups, AI field, people, you know, like that are hearing it, they would like as well to understand probably what are the biggest mistakes you saw startups make early.
Oh man, this is my favorite question. Biggest mistake startups make. It's this is gonna be unpopular, vastly unpopular, but starting with the product.
Hearing this.
Don't start with the product, start with a problem. Meaning, we saw this happening, not even in startups, we saw this happening in the IT service providers industry. As soon as ChatGPT came out, everybody was saying, I will implement GPT in your company. And then OpenAI released the API and all those businesses built on rappers went down because all those offers were not valid anymore. Why? Because they focus on the tool, not on the problem. Business, we do business to solve problems for people, right? I solve revenue problems, I solve profitability problems, I solve sales problems and marketing problems. Each company solves something. If you start, I get that at times starting with the product gives you an idea that changes the planet. But you know, I was last year at the Frankfurt School of Finance, and one of the business teachers gave the advice to the crowd that you don't need sales and marketing if you build a product that changes the world like ChatGPT. And you know, that's really shitty advice, because ChatGPT is a once, not in a generation, it's a once in history product. It's terrible advice. You do need sales and marketing. Now, what is the best sales and marketing? Take a problem that somebody has, solve them, and sell it to them. The other side to this is, why is it good to start with a problem? Because no matter how much technology advances, the problem will still be there. You can just now use the new technology to improve how you fix the problem and make even more money. It's wonderful. Now, the other thing is, let's say you start with a product. Fair. I know most people, even if 10 million people watch this episode, they will still start with the product. It's just how the startup universe works.
Guys, don't make this, don't repeat error.
The thing is, start with the product, fair, but address it to someone. All startups say, we need to sell to everybody. I understand you need to make money. But let's say you get funding, you should really get serious about identifying your ideal customer. And I don't mean a PowerPoint file that you downloaded from the Deloitte website that has pain, gains, and Sarah Connor and John Smith, and they are your customer personas. I'm saying, go out there, interview the people you will help, understand where they're at, where they want to go, what their frustrations are, and then build your entire communication approach around those things. Even if you start with the product, please do focus on the customer. Without customers, we have no business.
I guess what you're typically describing fits perfectly for a typical engineer, right? He's engineering things, building solutions, and never really thinking about the business side, the problem side. I'm a great fan of the lean startup methodology, which exactly does similar things what you're describing here.
I think it's the right approach. Listen, anything that, again, as much automation, as much AI as we get, business will always be ultimately an H2H thing, meaning human to human. So anything that puts the focus on the people we are delivering anything for is the right thing, because it's just how it always works. That will never change.
Solving real problems, right?
Solving real problems. And sometimes, of course, you get the product that the market didn't know they wanted it. The market didn't know they wanted cars. Henry Ford say, hey, we can get rid of horse transportation. Sometimes you get that. But again, we are talking about a once-in-a-century invention.
That's the thing. I think.
And in the end, you can frame it as well, the problem-focused thing, right? Because what Henry Ford said is, transportation is a problem, It's not about getting a faster horse, it's just about getting from A to B.
Faster.
Whatever way, as fast as possible, without the horses, right? So I think you're right on this point that it's about the problem here. What I would say, I'm not sure if it has to be always human to human, because as in the end, if you're solving a problem for a human, it can be a machine who solves that. But in the end, the understanding is all around human-centered, around your customer, the real needs, all underlying under all this other things that people are saying, what they just tell you without being really true. You need to find the real problem to address that.
And that's my entire business model is based on that, from positioning to sales trainings. Why? Because the reality of communication is that people suck at articulating what they need, but they are great at telling you what they want. Those are often two different things. So your job as a salesperson or as a business owner is listening to what they want and understanding what they need. And that's why negotiation is the definition of it in a sentence is communication with results. Because you need to have a goal, you need to explore what it is, and then get an outcome. Oftentimes we need to understand what people need. Henry Ford got it. People they need faster horses. They needed to get to places faster. And that's where the whole product came to be. Totally agree.
That's actually I feel like a really was an interesting answer, because I really several times, in my life I thought, when creating something, should I first, make a research what people need or what is the problem, instead of starting developing. And as an engineer, guys, I did this 100 times, this failure, always, I started coding and building, invested hours and hours.
Much fun as well.
Yeah, I mean, I have fun, but at the end it was like man, no one needs it. I need it. But man, Sebastian, I want as well, you have, as well, your podcast. And as I said, I really was hearing it, it's great. I was, really trying to go, through other episodes, and just, I was able, really as well, a long podcast, training, and hearing them. But I would like to ask you if you could, recommend us, from all of them, for sure are great, but for the guys in the AI field, is there any, for example, episode maybe that you could recommend to hear?
Go to the show and listen to the episode with the European Parliament member, Sergei Lagodinsky. We ended up having a lot in common, and I wasn't sure about the AI Act. I was very skeptical. I'm very skeptical of everything regulation.
Yeah.
But he actually made good points about it. The AI Act is not as dramatically an impediment as we think it is. It has some benefits. Of course, it has drawbacks. Of course, it is loose in its wording. It allows for interpretation. But at the core, as you said, anything that's facial recognition, anything that violates privacy or that could be used by the government to gain excessive amounts of power, that's protected by the AI Act. And that's very important. We do not want to live in a technocracy where we are observed 24/7 because we left open a loophole that allows the government to do that. And again, I'm not saying the government is evil. I'm saying that human nature, whoever has power will want to have more of it. It's just how it works. Anyway, that's probably, for people in the AI world, is great. That would be my recommendation.
I'm gonna hear it for sure. Later when I go to the gym, I know what I'm gonna hearing. No, that's thank you so much, for that, Sebastian. I think we are coming to the end. Actually, I will say, maybe, I don't know if you have another question, maybe from your side.
No, I would like to talk about our future projects we're actually having to let our people know.
Yeah.
But you have something else you want to add?
No, actually, I think with this, we are coming to the end. Sebastian, thank you so much for your time, for answering all our questions. I mean, I hope you guys as well, they're the ones you're hearing, and you can make as well a reflection from what we were hearing here today. I mean, it's a really, for us, pretty worthy, to have experts, here in this podcast, and I think as well for the community. So therefore, thank you so much, Sebastian.
Thank you.
And it was a pleasure to speak with you, mate.
Guys, my pleasure. This was amazing. I'm honored to have been here for the first episode. Please keep doing this. The hardest thing in podcasting is to just stick to it. Know something. Aim for having 21 episodes. 99% of podcasts never make it past episode 20.
Oh.
If you reach episode 21, which my podcast will reach next week, you are top 1% podcasters regardless of your audience. So keep doing this. Thank you so much. I really love this. And yes, grateful you had me here.
Before leaving, the name of your podcast once again, Sebastian?
Tech of Tomorrow with Sebastian Hidalgo. You can find it on Spotify, Apple, YouTube, and any platform where you listen to podcasts. And follow him on LinkedIn. I mean, he as well has there always, each day interesting videos, as well about this field. I can recommend as well 100%. Thank you so much, man. And well, then now we are coming to the end of this episode.
Yeah, I want to thank you as well a lot for being here. And it was amazing that you joined our first episode here. That's awesome. Guys, this was a lot of fun. Thank you. Yes. Actually, we guys are gonna have in the next months as well. We are continue planning, events here in Hessen. At the moment as well, we are starting this episode, this podcast. We are trying to keep it, as well, doing it during the next weeks, months. But there are actually coming 2 cool events soon up. We're going to host. The next one you can participate. It's going to be in February on the 24th. It's going to be in Wiesbaden this time. So that's the first event we're going to do in Wiesbaden. It's going to happen in the Seibert office. It's going to be a cool one, part of the Gen AI at Work event. Google is going to be a partner of it, and we're happy to welcome you there. And then stay tuned, follow us on LinkedIn, because there's coming something up, something bigger up in the summer. We're not gonna tell you already, but it's gonna be cool, and stay tuned, because that's a really cool one.
Yes, guys, I would like to thank as well, or we would like to thank to our friends, from the Cleaner Visuals.
Thank you, guys.
Martin, Michael, thanks so much, for doing this podcast. They are the guys, behind the cameras, and they are making all this possible. Therefore, thank you so much. And well, Sebastian, thanks so much for being here. And there's maybe some words, Daniel, to finish this episode.
Stay tuned for the next ones, because we're gonna do cool stuff here. We're gonna have cool events in the future. We have cool guests here, and stay tuned, follow us.
Beautiful. Then, cheers.
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 First episode, guys.